Hello and welcome to another 100% human video, my friends. We are back with the guide series. As many of you mentioned on stream, off stream, in the comments down below, everywhere basically, you guys wanted the guides back, and here I am trying to tape all the any percent guides back again. And there will be more than any percent guides, but for now I'm trying to focus on the any percent. So I'm currently having my day off, and I thought maybe I'm gonna try and start with the Elden Ring run. And yeah, here we go. I'm gonna make myself a little bit smaller. I'm commentating along the way, of course, and hopefully it will help a lot of people. And also, if you have any questions, please feel free to, write it down below, and I will try to answer all of these questions. Whatever name you want to name him, you pick the samurai, you pick the lands in between rune, and you're obviously going to pick your character. You want to pick the samurai for two reasons, basically. The stats are good, and second reason, maybe the more important reason, is that you get the Uchigatana at the very beginning. And the Uchigatana is a very, very strong weapon. It has Unsheath as its Ash of War. And Unsheath is pretty poggers. You don't need the armor. You can unequip the rune as well, because nobody needs that. My editor Tom is going to edit these runs. Shout out to Tom. Hey Tom, wie geht's?
Hello there!
Hopefully, we can cut out some unnecessary, running sections. And maybe pop the items in I pick up, because everything I'm going to pick up is necessary to pick up. And yeah. You jump down here, you die. And that's allowed. For all of you who might think, wait, why is he killing himself at the beginning of a hitless run? Is that allowed? It is allowed. According to the Team Hitless rules, it is allowed on Elden Ring to kill yourself there. Because even if you were to fight the boss, and if you would kill it hitless, then you have to kill yourself after the boss fight. So it is not mandatory in an any percent run to kill this boss. While the elevator drives up, use the lands in between rune. 3k runes for you. Maybe in these running sections I can drop some, overall tips and tricks when you start a new, hitless journey of yours. What you want to do in your first run is you want to make save games, okay? There are great save game tools out there. Maybe I'm going to put them down below into the description. It's like the hitless, Souls save game, Speed Souls save game tool. And there's a hit counter tool as well that helps you, of course, if you want to stream all of this. You obviously, according to Team Hitless, don't have to stream it, but you have to either record it or stream it. Pick up the grace and pick up the smithing stone, talk to Kale, and then we buy the following things. You buy the cracked pots, you need them. You buy the crafting book, you need it. And buy the missionary cookbook, okay? That's all we need to buy. And from here, we can now leave and get Torrent. And this is a little bit of a setup at the beginning of Elden Ring, I should mention. That setup, takes, I would say, 40 minutes, roughly. And after the setup is over, it's more or less a boss rush. More than less, It's pretty quick, because you set up, all the graces already, and you can just, run from boss to boss. So after you pick up these kukris on the way, you will need the kukris later into the run, here and there. So it's always good to have some kukris. Keep that in mind, because with the kukris, as you might know in the Dark Souls parts, we use a lot of alluring skulls to allure enemies so we can run past them. On this game we don't do that. We use the kukris to distract them, to make them look away. It doesn't work with throwing daggers or throwing knives, but it works with kukris. Get Torrente, and then you can make it day. Because at night there are bats around here, and you don't really want them to be around. Bats are dangerous. They can scream at you, and they're really quick with their attacks. So you sneak behind this bad boy here. What we're gonna pick up now is a weapon. One Unsheath, and the guy is dead. That's L2, R2. And then we pick up the flail. The flail is necessary for multiple reasons. One, we want to kill an NPC to get our main weapon of the run. And secondly, the flail is also used to kill the Mama Dragon. It is not necessary to kill the Mama Dragon if you really just want to be quick on the run. You don't have to kill the Mama Dragon, but we can do it today. Like, it's technically up to you as the hitless runner. You can do it. It makes the run a little bit quicker to not do it, of course. And if you're new to hitless, maybe you want to spend these extra 4 minutes or whatever it is to just get these extra 100, almost 100,000 runes. The reason I come here is one particular item, and that is the golden fowl foot, which is here. We pick that golden fowl foot up and then we run away, because we're gonna use that on after the Mama Dragon. And after we got that, we go back to gate front right here. There we go. Okay, and now run all the way up to the Stormveil shack. Past these bad boys here. You can just always sprint past them. There is no danger. They will never hit you. And also that giant that jumps down is not going to hit you as well. What you want to pick up is obviously the smithing stones here. The one we picked up on the bridge. These 3 smithing stones here. You want to have 12 smithing 1s and 12 smithing 2s at the end of the setup. I'm going to try to say, like, something useful for every item, and so that you guys know why I pick it up. And I can also show you, so far we have 5 smithing 1 stones, so that means we need 7 more and then 12 2s, and then we're good. By the end of the run it will be a plus 25. Strength, not crystal tier, gives you 10 more strength, so pick that up. It will be in your physics flasks later into the run. Disgrace is only necessary because we have or want kill Bernal in this run. Like, it is something we want to do. Oh, and also, since we have the Uchigatana, we don't have to come back here and can do it right now. There is a horse rider, a horse riding not boss, I'm sorry, enemy up here. And we are going to kill it now with the unsheath move, because if we kill this guy, we get an Ash of War called the Golden Vow, and the Golden Vow is really strong. 1 unsheath, 2 unsheath, and boom. Here we go. Pick up the Golden Vow. It buffs us for 45 seconds, and it gives us 11.5% damage. You know, if anything I'm saying is like wrong, if it's like, I don't know, oh no, Dino, it's like, actually it's 12% damage, then feel free to correct me down below. I'm not 100% sure with all the numbers, you know. Sometimes I'm just not, you know, sure if it's the exact number. Pick up the flesh there in that camp like I did, and then we talk to Alexander real quick. The flesh gives you 20% more damage for 15 seconds if you eat it. You get Alexander out. And then you talk to Alexander, and he gives you an exalted flesh as well. And these are the 2 exalted flesh we're gonna need for Stormveil. Use this grace. We're going to need this grace later on, because we are going to get like a talisman later on here. Run past this bad boy. Pick up this item right here, which is another smithing stone, you know? Another 2 smithing stones. Talk to this merchant. And buy this, and you can buy... You don't even have to... No, you don't have to buy another smithing stone here. Or we can buy the last 5 in Liurnia. This is technically all we need, because we should have 7 now. Yeah, and 5 are in the first Liurnia merchant, so we have 12. So, from here on out, no more smithing 1s necessary. Pick up these Trina's lilies. They are important. You will craft sleep pots with them. And sleep pots are very, very good for this run. Like, they make the run much, much easier. Oh, I should probably also mention, if I take a hit, like, you know, I'm going to tape this while running it. And if I were to take a hit, you know, I will continue regardless, of course. Because there's no point of restarting and grinding it for however long I need to grind it just to get like a hitless run done or whatever. I hope I'll play it clean enough to not take a hit, but just in case, you know, I wanted to mention that. Maybe we can speed up some parts. I'm not quite sure if that is possible. Oftentimes it's not that important, I guess. And I hope, you know, we can speed it up. The Flask of Wondrous Physics is important. The Crimson Crystal tier is not important at all. And the Sacred tier, obviously, nice to have. Pick up this Grace, and now we're going to go Fort High to get our first medallion half. The second medallion half, obviously, is in Fort Feroth in Khalid. And that comes next. And you run past this building, and there's a minor Erdtree. And now you want to gather some of these tarnished golden sunflowers, because you need them for holy pots. And you want to pick up the spiked, cracked tier that makes your charged R2 attacks stronger, I believe by 10%. So now you open this door right here, and you will also loot this axe talisman, because the axe talisman gives you 10% more damage for charged R2 attacks. Most of you probably already know what weapon we're going for, but for some who do not know, we are using the iron balls. I'm not going to pick up the spiked iron balls. There's a stronger version in Lane Dell. Technically, you can use those, obviously, if you wanted to. But for the any percent run, the one we're doing right now, it's just not necessary. You know, you would have a little bit more damage and would make it would make things a little easier, but it's just straight up, it's unnecessary to pick it up. So pick up this golden seed and then jump up here like this. Dismount, swap to the bow, and what you want to do here, mighty shot this guy. Lock onto this dude, mighty shot this dude, and then you sneak into Fort Height like this. And there's a rat, and you mighty shot the rat like this. And then you're basically almost, you know, you're basically home free. You want to just like stand here and mighty shot this dude, and then you're good. There's like a knight here. You can kill him if you want, but you know, he drops Bloody Slash. If you want to set up your RTSR a little faster, you can use Bloody Slash. It's not necessary, because we'll get Assassin's Gambit, and that will drain our health as well. But, you know, for some of you, Bloody Slash might be a cool addition to the run. You can do it. I don't think it's necessary, you know. And pick up your first medallion half and teleport to the third Church of Marika. After the third church teleportation, we will make our way out of Limgrave, and we will run into Khalid. As you can see, the flail needs 18 dexterity, so we can wield it. We need to level that up to kill Mama Dragon. Like, technically, the Uchigatana has bleed, and you could just use the Uchigatana, but you want the dexterity regardless, and the Uchigatana kill just takes longer. And now we're gonna go all the way up this hill to the left to the merchant shack. So talk to the merchant, and you want to sell the runes you picked up earlier next to the cookbook. I don't know if I mentioned what is in the cookbook, but if not, just in case, that cookbook we picked up earlier is for the sleep pots. You know? We have two cookbooks now. The one we got on Carles, and the one we picked up in the graveyard. And one is for the sleep pots, and the other one is for the holy pots. Those are all cookbooks we need. Now we are going to go to the Mama Dragon. Like, there is nothing else we need. We just picked up the torch. Like this torch here. It's the Beast Torch, Beast Repelling Torch. And the Beast Repelling Torch, as the name says, repels beasts. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Any sort of dog. Except for the ones with the red glowing eyes for some reason. And it will help you to navigate some sections, like, easier, of course, you know? And then we sit down at the grace, and believe it or not, the moment we do, Melina appears. Because now that we're in Khalid, we're eligible to go to Round Table Hold.
Fit to determine if you have. It seems torrent, whereas I'm there is, but I can take gathering.
We can sit down here real quick at the grace, and then you go and at the flasks. the ones you have, and then you change to 1.5. That's already enough. We don't need more. And then you level up the dexterity to 18. Okay, and you have like 2,500-ish left. And with these 2.5k, you go to the maiden, and then you buy a dagger, and you buy a seal, okay? Those are the two things you need, a dagger and a seal. And now go back to Fort Faroth. Remember, we picked up a golden fowl foot earlier. You will need that now. First, you equip the flail. You swap to the flail and you go to Mama Dragon. And while you're right down there, you can also equip the golden fowl foot. And then you start just swinging Mama Dragon like this. Obviously, make sure that you have your golden fowl foot in the inventory. I don't know, can you like see it? Oh yeah, here. Make sure you have your golden fowl foot in the inventory. So if the Mama Dragon, like it lasts for 3 minutes. The Mama Dragon is about to die. You can just like, or while it dies, you can also use it. You have a little bit of time, and then you will get like 30% more runes, which is absolutely worth it here. Also, I gotta mention at the end of this real quick, you don't necessarily need to have like Cerulean. You will do the bleed damage regardless. You know, just so you know. Here you have it, 100,000 now roughly, which is a ton at the beginning, of course. What you want to level first, which is important later on, because we want to use Flame Grant Me Strength, 2 Faith. Okay, don't forget about these 2 Faith. That is very important. And the rest can be basically, like you can go into Strength. Let's go 30 Strength for now, you know, like this. And the rest we just save. And yeah, I think that's good for now. But the most important thing is 2 Faith, okay? You hit the wall here like I did to distract the enemies inside of the fort. And then you go inside and you sneak through the fort like this. You can see these 2 bad mamas to the left here. And they will not attack you now. If they were to poison you, that's a hit, okay? That's considered a hit. As soon as you climb the ladder, the other bat, they might come in, but they can't hit you any longer, of course. Now you can get your second medallion half. You equip your torch, okay? Important. Equip the torch. Because now we're gonna go down and loot Radagon's Sword Seal. And you want to have that torch equipped because these rats won't attack you when you have the torch equipped, okay? That's basically the reason we have it. So you can just run past these rats. You pick up Radagons. You can immediately equip Radagons if you want. And then you just bail out. And you go to Stormhill Shack. The next spot of our journey is Liurnia. For the rest of the smithing 1s and the smithing 2s. And we can also start the Rhea questline and get some talismans. The second ingredient, I don't know if I mentioned that, for the sleeping pots is mushrooms. So it's Trina's lilies and mushrooms. There are multiple paths through Liurnia, of course, but if you go the way I go, you will never have any issues. So you buy the 3 and you buy the 5. Now we should have 3 smithing stone 2s and 5 smithing stone 1s. And here you want to like sprint past these 2 enemies. There's an enemy left and an enemy right. And then you want to go to the right of these guys here. And then you just continue on the structures. Like this. And here, past the crystal, and past these guys. Here's a grace. If you want, you can pick it up, but it's not necessary. And now, you see this structure in front of you. You just ignore the enemies spawning, run away, and you jump up here, and you go into the teleporter. The moment you tip, the yes, you are invincible. Like, they cannot hit you any longer. So, you get this grace here. This is an important grace, because we have to teleport back to it. And then, after, we're gonna go to Smorak. Because there are some kukris we want to loot. Not 100% necessary to pick the kukris there, but it kind of makes the run a little bit more comfortable because you need kukris here and there, and you could technically run out. I like to pick them up there, you know, it makes the run a little bit easier. Pick up the smithing stone 2s and then immediately run away because this plant is going to shoot at you. So you just jump up here on these rocks and then you jump in and you loot the kukris. And you teleport to the south gate again. That's it. Easy peasy. As easy as that. Then you equip the kukris. Like here. And we're going to pick up the last smithing stone 2s. So you go here. You throw kukri against this wall. Like so. The crab is going to go there. And then you drop. And you pick this item here. Which is smithing 2s. Now you have 9 and 12. Ready to pick the last 3 smithing 2s in this structure right here. And there are some lobsters. So be careful. If you go like this, the lobsters will never aggro. You just go in. Like this. And then you almost fall. And then you just... like, you can wait for this lobster to turn around again if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to do that, because it's not going to aggro to you regardless. But just that you're aware that it patrols back and forth. And now you're going to go to the Prawn Hill Shack, where the NPC is we want to kill. This is the NPC we want to kill. And you are going to pick this grace. And then you use this and this. And then you go to the flail. You roll through this, okay? These have to be destroyed. Then you hit the NPC once with an R1. And then you start spinning as soon as he's in that corner, okay? Spinning slash. And he's gonna stagger. And stagger. And stagger and stagger and stagger and dead. There you go. Spinning slash. Easy peasy. Good, we got the necklace for Rhea. And now you are technically ready. You have like 2 options now. Either you go and pick up the Craig's blade first, or you go here and do the Rhea stuff first. The upside, if you were to oh, wait, let me go back to the grace. I need to make it nighttime. The upside if you go Craig's blade first is that you get like another cracked pot at the merchant down there. That gives you 5 cracked pots before, and then you can just kill the... You know, we're gonna do it like that. Before we kill and do the Rhea stuff, we're gonna go Fort Feroth, we set up the Radahn Grace, and we get another cracked pot, because that makes the chicken fight easier. So you can now equip the iron balls, because this is what we're gonna use for the rest of the run. And then we're going to go all the way down to the Radahn Grace. Like right before Radahn's fort, there's like a bridge. So you talk to the merchant here, and then you get like... oh, I'm sorry. You get like 30 of these poison knives for later. Next merchant down here. You go to the merchant. Be aware, if it's night time for you right now, there's going to be a Knight's Cavalry patrolling here. So be aware of that and, you know, obviously make your way around that Knight's Cavalry. They are quick and they have like jumping attacks and it's nasty. Okay, buy that cracked pot here. Now you have 5 and you can get 5 holy pots. And then you can just make those 5 holy pots real quick. Oh, we already made 4, huh? Yeah, now we have 5 holy pots. And that is going to kill the chicken. And then you just go all the way to the grace here. There are these soldiers up there. Careful. Sometimes they aggro to you. And you can sit down to de-aggro them if you want. If you run further to the left, they most oftentimes don't even aggro to you. But just in case they do, sit down at the grace. Because you want to run around here. And then go behind this... rock, and then you just charge R2 this guy, because this gives you the Craig's blade. And now you can go back to Round Table Hold, and you talk to the blacksmith. You get your +6 weapon, you get your Craig's blade, you get your golden vow, And you can now use the rest of the runes to level up a little bit if you want. Make sure to have 10 faith. Again, reminder, we already have it here, but I remind you to always have the 10 faith, okay? That's important. You can use the rest for the strength. And now we go War Master's Shack. The reason we kill Bernal is pretty simple, actually. We kill Bernal because he has a bell bearing like any NPC or any merchant NPC in this game. And as soon as we kill him, we receive that bell bearing, and we need it later into the run to buy Assassin Gambit Ash of War from him, okay? It's a very important Ash of War, and it will give us a cloak. It's like an invisible, like we're not completely invisible, but it cloaks us and enemies cannot see you as well any longer. Drink your physics flask. You buff with Golden Vow. You buff yourself with the Crag's Blade. You swap to the Axe Talisman for 10% more damage, and you do two charged R2 attacks. 1, 2, and 1 quick, okay? Now you go to the Boiled Prawn Shack after you killed Bernal. And you will have to make it nighttime. Here it's nightfall now. And then you go all the way where we were earlier, where the chicken is. You can already like get the holy pots into the mix. And you go up this structure to the left. The chicken will spawn in that while. And you can buff yourself with Golden Vow. Throwing holy pots costs some cerulean, so be aware of that. Not much, but a little. So the chicken will now reset and then start idling somewhere. Like this. Now it's a little bit far away and I can't really hit the head with the pots. So I'm gonna go through another cycle just to be just to be sure. And you can also rebuff. Because it gives you the 11% more damage, of course. The chicken will aggro again after a little while, right now. And then you go through the same cycle, basically, and it will do the same. And now the reset is a little better. It's much closer, as you can see. And then you can just aim to the head, or lock onto the head, and throw the holy pots. And as you can see, with 5 holy pots, we can just kill it like this, you know? It's like a free kill, because it can't do anything. It will idle for like a couple of seconds. And then you can just kill it for free. Get the red feathered branch sword. Hello. Which gives you 20% more damage when you're low on HP. And then you complete the Rhea quest here, because we already obviously have the necklace. And receive the letter. The Volcano Manor invitation letter. And then South Raya Gate. And from there, we're going to use a teleporter to EG. And from EG, we're gonna make it to the lift. Okay, and then we're on Altus Plateau. And also, maybe, if you want to suggest, like, what I should do next, in terms of any percents, write it down below. I also thought about doing stuff like how to set up a strong Pyromancer on Dark Souls 1 or whatever, you know? Like, I played these games for a long time, and I know quite a lot about the different playstyles at this point, and, you know, I think I could make some, like, compelling and good guides for a new player. I know that some of you might have started your From Software journey with Elden Ring, and you maybe revisit all the other games, I don't know, and it might be cool, you know, to get a guide out that helps people, and that, maybe helps my YouTube channel as well. I don't know.
So please, whatever. I want to reach
1 million.
You don't need the EG Grace. All you need is you stay to the right here, like this. Just run it like I do it, and Loretta can't hit you. Just stay to the right side, and Loretta will always miss you with the magic. Then you jump over here. And you bypass Carrion Manor, right? Carrion Manor. We have to go into this pond right here. Because this pond has for us some materials. Trina's lilies and some mushrooms. So you want to pick those. For the sleep pods later, of course. For the later sections of the run. And now we are going to go all the way to the lift. You know, it's not necessary for us to make any more stops, I think, at least. We can now go to the lift. You pick up this, like, item here. This is a rune arc. You want to buff that later after you kill Godric. We're gonna get Godric's Great Rune. And then you have the rune arc ready already, you know. Go past this camp here. There are some enemies in there, so be aware. Again, if you go like this, they will never aggro to you, and you're always basically free, home free here. Good. There's Rhea, as you can see. We want to take her hand, but not now. First, we want to pick the grace. So get this grace. That's an important grace, so we don't have to run the way again, okay? Before you pick Rhea's hand, because she's going to teleport us into Volcano Manor. And make sure, before you make this teleport, that Bernal is dead, okay? Bernal has to be dead. You will not be able to kill Bernal after joining Volcano Manor. That is important, okay? Like, that killed some runs of mine, so don't make the same mistakes. He will move to Volcano Manor as soon as you go, you know? And that's why it is important that you kill him before, because you can't attack him here any longer, and then you can't buy Assassin's Gambit. And now you go back to the round table hold as soon as you did, because now your bell bearing will include Assassin's Gambit because you joined Volcano Manor. You give her Bernals, and you purchase, you purchase Azure War Assassin's Gambit. And now you put it on, you can put it on your Uchigatana, you know, because it's not of use any longer other than using it for Assassin's Gambit. You can get it into the mix here. You can also already, if you want, get the finger seal into the mix. And now, Rodview Balcony, okay? The grace we picked earlier that seemed unnecessary is now necessary, because from here, we're going to go and get Flame Grant Me Strength. And after you get all of these buffs, you will be so strong. Here, another Assassin's Gambit use, and then you start sneaking past these, like, chariots. They will not, or Elden cars or whatever, they will not notice you, and then you just teleport out immediately, you know? Just sneak, pick it up, and teleport out. And then you can sit down at the grace real quick and memorize the spell. As you can see, we cannot use it yet because it needs 15 faith. As some of you 5-heads already noticed, the Godric's Great Rune will provide these 15 faith. And we're gonna get this ready after Godric, and for Margit and Godric we have the Exalted Flesh. So, to conclude the setup right now, we are going to get a bell bearing to get a +12 weapon. And we are also going to kill the Draconic Tree Sentinel. The Draconic Tree Sentinel is an easy kill because it's going to be a cheese. And it gives us 50,000 runes, which will make us able to buy the Smithing Stone 3 and the Smithing Stone 4s. This is probably the most consistent setup on Elden Ring. There is... I cannot think of a method to make this, like, much more consistent and time efficient as this. Like, this is a good mixture. You can obviously do it differently by not killing the Mama Dragon and maybe go early Stormveil or whatever, and you might be a little quicker, that's true. But it's gonna be, you know, also harder. So it's up to you to decide. I think this is a very good mixture. You jump over here after picking the grace. You don't have to worry about the tree sentinels. And then you go into this mine. I think it's abandoned tunnels or something. I forgot what it's called. Sealed tunnels? I think it's sealed tunnels. You go into this mine. You use the Assassin's Gambit ones. Sealed, yeah. And then drop down here. Sneak up to this guy. Boom, boom. And this chest is all we need. This is the Smithing Stone Bell Bearing 2, which provides 3 and 4s. And then you just run out, like this. And you teleport to the grace we just picked up right after the tree sentinels. Unfortunately, you cannot warp out of the mine, because you have to kill the boss there to warp out of the mine. So you always have to run out. You go to the right of this staircase, and you run all the way up. You don't want to run the staircase itself, or the stairways or whatever, because there's a gargoyle spawning. And then you go past the battlefield. You can pick up this grace if you want, just in case. Sometimes you have to warp out of the tree sentinel fight, because it does like stupid movements, and then you want to warp out and to not risk it, you know, to not risk it to get hit. But I'm just gonna trust now that it's not gonna do that, and we're going to be alright. Okay, go down here, that's important. There are 2 golems to the left up, and they shoot. And they can hit you if you go the upper part. So go down here. And then just follow that ravine. Jump the Spirit Spring. And then you swap to the bow. Reason so in just a moment. Pick up the mushrooms here if you want. And then you go like this. So the tree sentinel does not immediately see you. What follows now is you get the kukris and you get your bow out. And you want the iron balls and the whatever weapon you use to use the Assassin's Gambit, you want that out as well. So you go roughly to the spot when the tree sentinel starts turning like this. And as soon as it starts walking towards you, you run away. You run away and jump on this rock here, right here, like this. And as soon as it turns towards you again, like this, you run away again. And you jump over here and go into this corner, aim to the very edge of this, and throw a kukri. Boom. Then you use the Uchigatana, or the Assassin's Gambit. You get out of the corner, sneak up to the guy, and then you do charged R2, charged R2, charged R2, go around, charged R2, let him fall. GG's. And that's a free 50,000. It always works. It's consistent. And if you do it like this, there won't be any issues. You're going to have to practice this a little bit, maybe like once or twice, but it's not super difficult. And you're going to like figure this out ASAP. Here, get the smithing bell bearing, get 12 smithing 3s and 12 smithing 4s, and you get your weapon 2 plus 12, and then we're going to kill Patches. And the reason for killing Patches is, as most of you know, Margit's shackles. And as soon as you run into this ravine, at some point it just dismounts you, like you get off Torrent, and then Nereus will spawn, and you just run away. Just run away. Like this. And then Nereus should just despawn immediately. Has returned to their world, as you can see here. You can go back on Torrent, and then we can enter the cave. So go into the cave. You don't need to use like Gambit here. You can if you want, but these enemies will like not reach you. You just run all the way to the right, and you should be good. You know, just go like this, and go around. And there's already the fog gate. You go in. And now you open the chest. You buff with Golden Vow. You buff with Cracked Blade. You drink your flask. And now you wait for him to do the blow attack like this. Run around, backstab. Now he's gonna start, oh, please don't kill me, and then you just kill him. You got yourself a Patches Bell Bearing, and now you just go back to Round Table Hold, to the Maiden, get the Bell Bearing, and then boom, Stormveil. You have to understand that we're now basically halfway... I mean, it doesn't look like it, but we're basically halfway through the run. From here on out, everything is gonna be, like, much quicker. Like, we do it now, Stormveil, Radahn, Leyndell, back to back to back, basically. So, you use the Assassin's Gambit here, and you can also swap to the Red Feathered Branch Sword. Because the RTSR, or, yeah, Red Feathered, gives us 20% damage when we're low HP, as I mentioned earlier. And that is the strongest talisman we have so far. So just use it, of course. You go in here. You should not... Like, sometimes this one guy shoots you, but if you go the way I go, then it shouldn't be a big deal. I have 30k, I know, but I'm gonna level later. It's not necessary to level here. Just set up your RTSR right now real quick. Now, you know, it's all set and done. Now you can also get the Flash in and get the Market's Shackle in. And now we buff like so. You drink your flasks. You buff with Golden Vow. You buff with the Crag's Blade. You eat the flesh, 15 seconds, 20% more damage. And then you go into the boss fight. And you shackle Market. Like this. Charged R2, charged R2, charged R2. Riposte. Dead. Here we go. Okay, now you can level up a little bit more strength, of course, if you want. Because why not, right? And now we're gonna run Stormveil. And for Stormveil we need this again. So you talk to Gostok, and some of you might think, oh man, we're gonna go side gate or side way, but no, we're gonna go main gate. And it's only possible consistently because of the Assassin's Gambit. You know, as soon as they open the gates, you use the Assassin's Gambit, and you start sneaking around here, and then you sneak all the way to the right, like this. And you just sneak past this enemy, or these enemies. And then you jump up here, and then you run over here. Assassin's Gambit lasts 30 seconds, okay? This gives you plenty of time to run all this way to this grace. And this grace is the halfway point, basically, for you. Now we have to... The next section is a little bit more precise. And you want it to be nighttime as well. At least I want it to be nighttime. It's probably not necessary for it to be nighttime, but it feels more comfortable for me if it's nighttime, you know? And we also need a bow, real quick. And the kukris again. We have 8 kukris left, just so you know. Use the Assassin's Gambit here again, because there is this like lion enemy to the left, just to be clear. You know, use it. You pick up this Trina's Lily here. And then you use it again here. You jump, and then you start sneaking. This always works, okay? Sneak past these guards. Sneak all the way to the right here. Until you reach this bush. Right here, okay? Then you use it again. You swap to the bow. You aim above this. And you throw a kukri. And then you aim roughly here. And you throw a kukri. This guy will take out his weapon. And will not shoot you. You run to the right. Then the other guy from behind shoots you, but hits the rock. And then you run past these guards who are distracted by the second kukri. Pick up these kukris here. Buff again. And then you just go like this. And there's no one else noticing you. And you can just like run the rest of the way for free. This needs a little bit of practice. I understand that, and it looks scarier than it is. If you do it like this, it will work, okay? It took me like a couple of tries of practice as well. It's a very consistent way of navigating this, okay? And you can promise, you can trust me, it's like, it's consistent. I use it in my marathon runs. So, you're going to go past... these here. After you rebuff with Assassin's Gambit, you pick up these 2 cracked pots. Just ignore the pot guys. They're not going to attack you, or if they do, they're much too late. And then you pick up this item, because this is even more kukris. Now we have 19 kukris in total, and that is way more than enough. And now I'm gonna pick up this grace here. Like, you can always pick up this grace if you're new to the run, of course. Because if you might die to Godric, you have the grace as a backup, you know. So you set up this RTSR setup again, as you did earlier. I'm going to try to commentate along the fight again. Godric is a little bit more complicated because he has, you know, RNG to it, unfortunately. It's not fully scripted. Drink. Golden Vow. Craig's Blade. Exalted Flesh. And go in. You can also swap to the Kukris if you want. You can throw a Kukri or two at him if he does something stupid. And then he always opens with one of two attacks. Either he grinds or he jumps. And he jumps this time. Roll in. Give him a charge R2. Jump this. Jumping R2. Phase transition. 1 charge, 2 charge, 3 charged. It's gonna start screaming. And now you run in immediately, okay? Run in. 1 charge, 1 tab. Here we go. As soon as he's in phase 2, he's dead. Like, the opener is either that jump attack or he grinds the floor. And then he can do basically whatever afterwards, so you gotta be aware of that. And now we go back to that tower bridge grace we got earlier. You just run it like this. There's a different way of running it, but I like to run it like this. This guy usually does 1 or 2 attacks. Either this, you just dodge it and run through his feet, and then you're good. Or I sometimes does like a slam attack, which is also easily dodgeable, and then you're good. You don't have to dodge any more attacks here. This guy is going to shoot you, but you just stand behind the structure, a little away from it, otherwise the explosion hits you. So stand a little away, wait for him to shoot, and now you run like through his legs as well. And as you can see, they're not able to turn around. So you're home free now. As soon as you touch it, you're good again. There are some great runes in this game. Every has its like unique, I don't know, ability that strengthens you in some shape or form. Godric's great rune strengthens you. That if you use a rune arc, you get +5 to every stat. You know? Oh, don't use the rune arc right now. You have to activate it at a grace first. You want to go to the Saints Bridge, the grace we picked earlier, because we're going to get like another talisman real quick. And now you sit down at the grace here. And then you put this great rune in, and then you use the rune arc. I almost did it wrong, you know? That would have been quite something, guys. So, and now we're gonna jump all the way down. But first, use this, because there are like tentacle boys down there, and these tenty boys, they might jump you if you're not cloaked, and then it's the end of the run. So, cloak yourself, and then we're gonna go into the cave. And then we kill Radahn, guys, finally. Not Prime Radahn, but Radahn. So, we run through this cave like so. Drop, drop, drop. Run all the way. Like here. And then you drop, roll, turn around, drop, 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 and drop. Like this. You go up here. You use your Assassin's Gambit again, because there are wolves down here. Jump to the right, run past like so, and then when you go around this corner, you lock onto that wolf because he would jump you, and you throw 1 kukri at the wolf, and then you're good. You go into this big cave, you use it again, and then you jump over on this structure here, and then you run and jump over to the bat, and then you just jump over here, and then you jump past the waterfall, and then you got it. It's a little bit of a practice thing as well. As soon as you're here, drink your flask, you know. This golem is easy to kill. It's like a normal golem. You wanna buff with Assassin's Gambit real quick, and you don't need Flame Grant Me Strength. It's not necessary. As soon as your Assassin's Gambit, it will not wake up until you're right next to it. You just hit the leg, charged R2, charged R2, tap R2, dead. That's how easy it is. We get the Blue Dancer Charm, which is a little better than the Axe Talisman for us, but, you know, it's insignificant. But after Radahn, we're gonna get a third Talisman slot anyway, so we can go get the Axe Talisman after Radahn back into the mix. So now we're gonna go to Radahn, and we're going to fight him, you know? So, as soon as you're down here, you can use your weapons again, and then you want to set up your RTSR, of course, as always. And then I'm gonna go through the Radahn fight, and I'm gonna explain it along the way. If there are any additional questions, please hit me up down below or on stream. I can answer all the questions there. You do not buff before you go into the arena. You buff within the fight. We go in, we run away from Radahn because he's gonna shoot one of the gravity arrows. You roll that arrow. Like this. Then you run into the fight as soon as he despawns, and he will come to you, okay? It's important. Now you dismount, you drink your flask, you buff with Golden Vow, you buff with the Iron Balls, and you buff with Flame Grant Me Strength. And then you lock on to Radahn. As soon as he does this, you run into him. Charged R2, tap R2, roll this attack, charged R2, go around him. Charged R2, roll this attack, go behind him, tap R2, charged R2 into stagger, charged R2 dead. Radahn fight is basically scripted. All you have to do is wait for the opener attack that I got immediately. Most oftentimes he does it immediately. Sometimes he doesn't do it. But then just like roll away from whatever attack he does and build up some distance between you and Radahn. And then he will do it eventually. Go all into strength. And then we're gonna go to the round table hold and get our third talisman slot. That gives us a 10% more damage buff, of course, because we can now use our Axe Talisman. Good Talisman pouch. And Axe Talisman. And now you can go all the way to that grace you set up earlier. The Capital Rampart. And we can just go into Leyndell immediately. I hope so far it was pretty, like, easy to understand and compelling. And if so, please give this video a like. Thank you very much, guys. It's for the algorithm. Give it a like and maybe write a comment down below, you know?
1 million.
You can pick this grace here. If you sit down, be aware that Melina is going to start yapping again. So to avoid the yapping, you can just not sit down at the grace. You go into Leyndell and then you kill this first bubble boy here with a charged. You buff yourself. And then you run like this. Run past the bubble boy. He's gonna bubble you, but just keep on running. And then you run to the left here. And then you run behind the big bubble boy. All the way around. And you keep on moving. Drop. Roll. Onto this rooftop. Rebuff. Jump. Run past. Jump. Run past this guy. Jump. Even if you were to fall down, that's not a problem, because you're buffed. And the enemies won't see you, you know. And then you are good. You run out down here, and now we get the shortcut real quick, because it's easier to go to the fire giant, obviously, as soon as we get the shortcut, so we don't have to run all that way again. So you're gonna go and get that lift here. And open the door all the way at the top. Open the door like so and go down. You can just sprint past this guy. He's just, I don't know, ignoring you. I'm not quite sure why, but you know, he just doesn't care. So use this lift. I don't know why there is a lift here, by the way. It's just such an unnecessary lift. You jump the rooftops, because we do a little bit of a skip here. Jump these rooftops here. Jump over here. And then you jump on this little like piece. And then you jump over here. And then you go around and you jump over here. And then just sneak past this guard. It's gonna turn to the left now. There you go. You just sneak past this guard. You can pick up this rune if you want. +9. And then we go up the dragon wing. There's a rune arc in case you're running out of rune arcs because you died or whatever. You can pick up this rune arc if you want. And then you want to rebuff here again. There is like one guy to the left. These knights are, by the way, dangerous. They have like lightning attacks. And these lightning attacks can really fuck you up. There's a guy to the left here as well, so be careful. He's always gonna stab you. Just run past him. You can just basically ignore him and run past him, but just be aware, okay? This gargoyle is not going to aggro. As soon as you pick up this item to the left here, it's aggroing, and you don't want it to aggro, so don't pick up the item. It's a golden seed, by the way, as you know. Rebuff and run past the flower boys. The guys with the spears only aggro to you if they have flowers at their heads, I believe. These red flowers. So these guys are not going to aggro. And then you can just rebuff here real quick. And then you can just run past these flower boys here. They're all faced away from you. And then it is time to fight the golden boy, which is also a fight that obviously is not scripted. It has like a various amounts of RNG. Again, make a safe game, please. Practice the fights. That's the most important thing. Okay. Drink your flask of wondrous physics. Buff with the golden vow. Use the crag's blade. And last but not least, use the flame grant me strength. You go in and you wait for an overhead slam. Okay. Sometimes he doesn't do it right away, which is unfortunate because the buffs can run out. So you want to run around him until he does the overhead slam. This is actually good. Maybe the fight is going to be a little longer then. Just be patient, okay? Overhead slam, charged R2, roll this. Jumping R1, roll this. Run with this attack, charged R2. Walk this attack, charged R2. Jumping R1. Stagger, charged R2. Quick R2, dead. Here we go. As you might have noticed already, we only do charged R2 attacks on, or quick R2 attacks with this weapon. This is why we use it, because the charged R2 attacks are so incredibly fast. We have our last talisman slot now. We have 85,000 runes. We can use that real quick before we fight Morgoth. That is going to be nice to have. 51 strength now, that's good. There's only one enemy in between us and Morgoth now, and that's like one of those assassin girls. You can navigate it in multiple ways. I'm gonna show you the quickest way now. Oftentimes, like 99.99% of the time it works. I think it failed for me once, and I don't know, maybe I made a mistake or something. But it usually does work. You wanna like buff up here, and then you're gonna sneak all the way up to the assassin girl. And then you start slow sneaking, and you just walk past it. It's gonna turn around like this, but it's not gonna see you, you know? And then you're good. You can pick up this grace here. And then you can go to Morgoth already, because you don't have to level up any longer. But what you want, obviously, is Margit's Shackle, because you can use it on Morgoth as well, which makes the fight much, much easier. It's gonna be a scripted fight if I don't make it. If I don't make a major mistake. In all transparency, I haven't run this leveled in a while, so I'm not like too familiar with the scripts, obviously. I just like, you know, try to come up with in my head. But I do his level 1 a lot, and it can't be much different from the level 1 script, so it's gonna work for sure. Hashtag no copium. Drink. Buff with the golden vow. Use the Crag's Blade and use Flame Grant Me Strength. And then we go in and we start shackling the boy immediately. Run a little up, shackle, charged, 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 charged. No, okay, it didn't work like that, unfortunately. Okay, never mind. Now you have to fight him. Don't charge again.
Thy part in this shall not be forgiven.
Oh god, I'm a little... Okay, good. Roll... Like, if you were to have fight phase 2 here, roll into this attack and give him, like, one hit. And what I like to do is I like to be a little bit away from him. He has, like, some nasty combos, like this one, for example. And I only go in if it's, like, safe to go in. I will show you now what attacks you can punish and what not. And, yeah. Maybe we can have some cool openings, you know? Like, these you all want to run away. This you want to run away, of course. He does a lot of this spear running attack. Sometimes he does a jumping attack. And the jumping attack is what we want, basically. That gives us the best opportunity to punish. But we don't oftentimes get it, unfortunately. At least not on phase 2. In phase 1 he does it much more often. Other than that, we have to wait. You know, you gotta be patient. If this happens, you just gotta be patient. Which is alright. So, you know, we can fight phase 2 a little bit. This can be punished, obviously. Rolling into both attacks and attacking him from behind once. Technically, you could finish him off there. But it's not like 100%, I believe. So, you gotta be careful. You know? I don't know if I could have, like, fully finished him off. I could have, but... You gotta be a little bit more careful. I'm just gonna fight him now. And then I will talk about my mistake after the fight. Perfect. Okay, here we go. That jumping attack is probably the best thing to punish on phase 1 and phase 2. Yeah, my mistake was that I did not get the riposte immediately. I did so much damage that I thought I could do like one more attack, but he immediately phase transitioned. What you want to do is like charged attack, charged attack, and then use the riposte. And then after the riposte to do charged attack again. And then if he's going to phase after, like he is going to phase after that, but you are most likely able to kill him. It's going to be alright. So after you kill Morgoth, you get the rolled medallion, and then you go to the East Capital Rampart again. And now we can go all the way to the Fire Giant. There's some little things I gotta talk about on the way to the Fire Giant, but overall, before we start this journey now, I gotta say, this is probably the most exhausting run up to the Fire Giant. It's kind of like something that is... It feels so daunting every time. And it's annoying that you have to go all that way for the next story boss. What would I give for just like a quicker way to the Fire Giant? Or, you know, a different way to get into Farum Azula? But unfortunately, that's the only way. Use Assassin's Gambit here, run past this enemy. It will not notice you. Run up the stairs. And then you use Assassin's Gambit again here. And then you just run up here and run past these guys. They will also not notice you. Sometimes this guy aggros, that's not a problem. You just trigger one of his attacks. Or you don't. You just use Assassin's Gambit again. And then you just run past him. And you just ignore this guy as well. And then you run past this horse guy. He turns like this, so run to the left. Assassin's Gambit is usually pretty strong, but for some reason, this one guy sometimes sees you. It almost feels like he's connected to that archer. You go into the Forbidden Lands, and now there is a grace. And this grace is kind of important, because you want to make it day now. There is like a Knight's Calf patrolling on this path. And if it's not day for you, the Knight's Calf like will just pop up in front of you, and they're, as I mentioned earlier, they're quick and they can jump you. It ended one of my runs, so you can obviously try to, you know, outmaneuver it every single time, but make it day and you're always safe. Run past these two guys here. They will always attack you, but they're usually too slow. And if you run like I do, you should never get hit. The gargoyle is a little bit of an issue. It's always gonna come down here like this, and you have to run away from it and turn your camera, because it cannot reach you with this like normal weapon, but it can scream at you. And if it screams at you, you have two different options. Either you go to the side like this when it screams, or you dismount. Like, dismounting also gives you iframes, and that is easily enough to dodge the screen. But you have to be aware of the scream, okay? You go to this grace and pick up this grace. The reason for this is we want to pick up another bell bearing real quick. It's right here in the Samer ruins. You equip yourself or buff yourself again with Assassin's Gambit. You go through this structure here, through these ruins, and you go where the spirit animal is here, and you jump off the horse, and you just go down into this like catacomb, cave, grave thing. And you pick up this bell bearing down here, and now you don't have to go back to the same ruin grace. You can go back to Round Table Hold, and you can get a plus 16 weapon now. Is this enough? 12. It's not going to be enough, but it's not a problem because we did not use a single one of those. So I always like you can obviously just do it differently, but what I always do is I just keep them, and if I'm in need of any runes, I just use them, you know. So you go back to the Samer ruin. After you did so, it's our long run up to the fire giant. Or this is already a long run up to the fire giant, but now we have to run even further, of course. All the way to the left. Jump over, like so. And then all the way to the right. And drop down here. The reason I run it like this is the birds. There are some birds here, and these birds are quick and dangerous. There's also one to the right here, as you can see. They're quick and dangerous, so be aware that some of them will immediately attack you when they spot you, and they can also get you on the horse. Like, I've been hit on these birds already, so be careful. You walk up to him. As soon as he turns around like this, you run away. You have to do it like this. If you just run past him, he has like an attack where he shoots a fireball out of his head into your back. And this is almost impossible to dodge because you can't really see it, and you also can't really turn your camera because this is not a straight path. And you don't know how to navigate it. You can't like have eyeballs everywhere, right? So turn him around like this, and then when he turns around, you just sprint past. Wait for him to shoot. And after the golem shot, you continue. This is easy to navigate. There is no danger here. And he will shoot again, but he will always like hit the rocks. But now we turn into the freezing lake, and on the freezing lake it's a little bit of a different story. It's not very dangerous, but there's obviously the dragon spawning, and on top of the dragon spawn there's also like this, you know, snowstorm going on. And if you like, you know, if you're off track, there is going to be a lobster here as well, or multiple lobsters, and if you run into them, you're gonna get lobstered, you know. They're gonna shoot you in the back. So he's gonna spawn left, right, sometimes even in front of you. Make sure to just navigate straight ahead if you can. And there should be a tree at some point, like this one. And then from this tree, you can just navigate up here. As soon as you see this tree and this stone, you're on the right path. And then the fog also goes away, or the snowstorm also goes away. And then you just go between these trees, behind this dog here. And then after you're here, you have to be aware that there are 2 big dogs or 3 big dogs up there. So you want to be all the way to the left. This guy might attack you sometimes, as you can see. And then you just navigate around him. This guy always eats. As soon as you're like further away, nothing can probably hit you. You can also use the beast torch if you want. The beast torch obviously makes it trivial. They will not attack you at all. Here, this part, also a lot of like enemies. Some will attack you, but you can just yeet past them. They will have never hit me before. This should not be an issue at all. And from here on out, you're basically free to go all the way to the fire giant. And before we go to the fire giant right now, we are going to pick the level a plus 25 stone. It's an ancient dragon smithing stone. And it's going to be in that skull. Like there's a giant skull up here. And we have to climb into its mouth. And that's where it is. So there are birds here. You want to buff yourself. Like so. And these birds will not bother you. But be aware that you have to be buffed. Otherwise they might attack you. That's the smithing stone. That would give you a plus 25. We need that for later. The next spell bearing we get after the Godskin duo, and then we can get a plus 25 weapon. So now it's fire giant time. The fire giant should be scripted as well. I said that on Morgoth, I know, and I didn't get it, but the fire giant for sure is scripted. But first, as always, red tier stone setup. Oh, and also obviously equip your sleep pots. The opener is not scripted. He does like different openers, but after you destroy his chain or his, I don't know, whatever is around his wrist, not wrist, I'm sorry, his ankle, that's when the fight becomes like completely scripted basically. So you drink up, you go drink, golden vow, boom, crag, like this. Drink again, because throwing the sleep pots is cerulean is required. So now we get the snow shovel opener. You roll it, you go back on the horse. Oh, that's the jumping attack. You jump off and you destroy this. Sleep pot, sleep pot. Now he's gonna nap, and you're gonna hit him once, you hit him twice, and now he's gonna stagger. And now you hit him once again. Phase transition. Flame grant me strength one more time. Wait for his hand to come down. Sleep pot. Sleep pot. He's going to nap again now. 1, 2, 3. The fourth one staggers him. Boom. And now 1. Dead. Works all the time. As soon as he like staggers the first time in phase 1, it's over, you know? And then you can just proceed to Farum Azula. The great thing about this is that with the sleep pots and with these like super strong iron balls on a leveled run, there is nothing that could potentially stop you. You're just so incredibly strong that there is not much that could potentially stop you, you know? Level up, of course, you know? More strength, more damage. And now talk to Melina again, one last time. Not much to say. We're gonna navigate this, like, legacy dungeon with Assassin's Gambit. It's gonna be quite, like, easy. You can pick up this rune if you want, again. Extra runes are always good. Some of you guys like to pick up more runes and be a little bit more leveled. As you can see, it's not necessary, but you can be even stronger than we are right now. You want this beastman to patrol back, so you can just like sneak past it or run past it. Buff yourself again real quick as soon as it patrols back. Then you just do like this, and then you run all the way to the left here. There's another beastman, but you should be able to just run past it like so. It's not even gonna aggro. And then you're out in the open. Jump down here. As soon as you're like I don't know, next to this item, I guess, here, roughly. You buff again. There's a dragon coming down. Now, full sprint mode. You know, just ignore the dragon completely and just keep on sprinting. Very important. It's going to, like, get some lightning out and stuff, and it's going to turn around and follow you. But just keep on sprinting, okay? Gather some stamina, and now you go to the grace and you sit at the grace. In case it were to follow you, okay? You want to always sit at the grace to reset it. You go into the room, you buff yourself with Assassin's Gambit. This guy starts patrolling. You sneak behind it. And then you go here to the right, and you go on top of this roof. After you're here, you jump into the windows, I guess. And you buff yourself again. This guy patrols to the right, and you just jump down next to this dude eating. You run behind him, and you jump all the way down here, and then you're out. You should not be aggroed by anything else. And then you go all the way to the left here. You jump down here. Oops. And then you buff yourself again. And you go past this dude. You jump over here. Be aware that you have to gather some momentum. Jump here. And drop. Drop. And drop. And drop here. There's an enemy to your left, but it faces the other way. And then you can just go and sprint past all of this here and sit down at this grace to reset the enemies inside of the Dragon Temple. And then you go into the Dragon Temple here and you wait in this corner until this guy is past you. You can rebuff if you want. Just wait until this guy goes past you. These are dangerous, okay? Be careful here. There should be another guy to the left. He always patrols like this. That's why we sit at the grace to reset their pattern, their patrolling pattern. So this guy will always be in the left, you know? If you run in and you have not reset their patrolling pattern, then he might be right next to you and he might hit you. So be careful. Here we go. Unequip this. Drink. Now you gotta be a little bit quicker, because you have only 30 seconds until the buff runs out. Get the Godskin Duo into the fight. Throw 1 and 2 sleep pots. Monitor them. They both should go to sleep now. Very good. As soon as they did so, you buff Golden Vow. You drink. You buff the Grex Blade. You drink again. You buff with Flame Grant Me Strength. And you swap over to the sleeping pots. Charged R2. Charged R2. Charged. 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 Be aware you can hit them while they die. Charged R2. Charged R2. Charged R2. Boom. Boom. Sleep him again. That's important. Now sleep him again. After he sleeps, you drink up again. And you buff completely again. You buff like this. You buff like this. And you buff with Flame Grant Me Strength. One last zip. And then you swap to the sleeping pots again. And then charged R2, charged R2. And then you wait for this guy to throw. Sometimes he doesn't. You want him to do like one of 2 attacks. This is one of them. After he does the jumping attack, you throw again. He's gonna go to sleep. And then you kill him and the fight's over. Easy. Like you want to bait out either the jump attack or there is an attack where they go forward and try to like grab you with the staff and pull you back. And that gives you that gives you enough time to throw a pot, because they input read you and they will read if you throw sleeping pots, but if they are within an attack, they cannot do that. They cannot dodge and attack at the same time, so a jumping attack as well. So what you want to do is, you want to like run close and run away to bait out these attacks. Basically, it needs a little bit of practice, but again, Safe game. Practice it. Okay? It's super easy. I have not been on the Godskin Duo in quite a while, probably. After that, you get the Bell Bearing, of course, and then you can get a plus 25 weapon. Now we're really, really, really strong. And you go back into the Dragon Temple. And, yeah, we can level up as well. You know, we're like super uber strong. We also have some remembrances still to use. If we want to do that, we can do that as well. Get the Assassin's Gambit back into the mix. And wait for this guy to patrol away. So he's gonna patrol away like this. And then you just jump down here. And go in here. You buff again. There's a dog. Be careful. Just run to the left. Dog will not see you. Drop down here. There are 2 dogs. Run behind them. Jump over here. And then before there's another beastman coming. You just run to the right. Like here. And then you just go all the way down here. And now we come to a part which is called the bird part. Dangerous. If you fuck it up, you die most likely. You can teleport out if you're really, really quick, but there's a good likelihood of you dying if you fuck it up. So what I would do is buff with Assassin's Gambit and sneak like this, slowly sneaking. Then you jump over here, over the railing, and then you just navigate behind that bird. There's a dragon afar away, and that dragon will always scream, and there's this red lightning coming up. But don't, you know, don't be scared. Just, like, buff yourself. And as soon as the lightning is gone, you jump down here. The birds should not attack you when you run the way I run. And then, the moment you're here, you swap to the bow. This rooftop is a safe spot. There will be no lightning on this rooftop. And then you mighty shot into this dragon. As soon as you did that, the dragon is gonna disappear. Like this. There you go. Now there is no dragon any longer. And you can just use the golden bow. And use like Assassin's Gambit. And drink up. And then we can sneak down here with the iron balls and kill this bird from behind. And as soon as you killed this bird, you use another Assassin's Gambit and you sneak all the way to the left. And then you sneak all the way up here. Now you can start running again. And you're through the bird part. The Assassin's Gambit makes it just so consistent, you know? You need a kukri in just a moment, so make sure to equip the kukris again. And yeah, there's this guy patrolling. You can just like run past this dude. He has like lightning attacks. He oftentimes uses them, but you can just outrun them, you know. There you go, he's using it. And then you'd run to the left, because there's one guy coming out. And when you run to the left immediately, he's not going to notice you. You rebuff here, and then you go briefly into the room to trigger the enemies, okay? They don't see you, they're just triggered now. And that means they will react to kukris. You throw a kukri, and you let them walk to the kukri. The other guy as well. And then you have, like, you know, free reign. You can just, like, go all the way to the lift now. You don't have to worry about these guys. And then you go up the lift. And there is a grace waiting for you. And you want to sit down at the grace. You already have a plus 25 weapon. So what we can do now is we can immediately go to Maliketh and just fight Maliketh. Maliketh is going to be one of the more complex fights. I would say Maliketh and Horalu are the 2 hardest fights in the run. So what follows now is obviously one, you have to practice quite a lot. You know, way more than the other ones. Certainly way more than the other ones. And you buff yourself with Assassin's Gambit and you sneak. Okay? Don't run. Sneak past this guy. When you run, he will notice you. So you have to additionally sneak. And then you can just set up your RTSR here. Maliketh and the Beast clergyman part is... Yeah, Malikev itself is kind of alright, I guess. The beast clergyman is a little bit more... I don't know. You know, you have to understand it and you have to practice it. I'm gonna go through it now, but there's a lot of RNG, you know, and you want to bait out, like, certain attacks. I'm gonna show you. It's something that needs practice, you know? Just so you're aware that this is one of the big hurdles, I'd say. So you buff up as always, and after you're done with buffing, you drink Cerulean, because you need to rebuff before phase 2. So you go into the fight and you run up to the Beast Clergy and you want to bait out one certain attack. You know, you want him to do the jumping attack, this one. He follows up like this, you double roll, you roll into the delayed one, and he does this, and then you charged R2. You jump this attack, and then you wait for him to do the jump again. You roll into this attack. This is the rock you roll into. Here we go. Roll, roll, roll. Slam. Boom. I think this is already it. Now we can rebuff, I'd say. So we go and rebuff now. Like this. And you always have to wait until he does like a throwing attack, okay? Before you start rebuffing. Because he can just run around and attack you while you rebuff, so be aware of that. Now you want to bait him. Whoa, whoa. And boom, phase 2. Now, phase 2 is going to be a little bit more straightforward. I hope it works immediately, but sometimes you miss, because the problem with these iron balls is that you can easily miss an attack. On phase 2, it's basically the most important thing now is to hit his legs. As soon as you hit his legs twice, he's going to stagger and the fight is over, but you have to hit him twice. Otherwise, you have to fight him. So this is how it works. You walk a little bit away, he's going to do a swipe attack. You run in, charged R2, charged R2, and then he's dead. This looks easier than it is. Did I miss the legs so many times? It needs a little bit of practice, but that's in general, I think, the most important stuff with these iron balls is that you have to practice the bosses, not only to know the attacks of the bosses, it's also about how do I hit the bosses, you know? Like, what do I do to actually be able to hit them? Because that is the more important part. Gideon is a very special boss because he has like a very long dialogue when you go into the fight and you can already hit him while he speaks. But if you wait to a certain point in the dialogue, then you can hit him twice before his AI realizes, oh shit, I'm going to die and I have to retaliate now. And the first retaliation after you wait for a certain voice line is the buff. Like, he's always gonna buff first, and that gives you the opportunity that you can get 3 charged R2 attacks into Gideon without him doing anything but buffing, you know? And that obviously is enough to kill him on a level 1. The voice line you are going to wait for is, what a sad state of affairs. He's gonna say that at a certain point in the dialogue, and as soon as he says that, you know, oh, he said what a sad state of affairs. Now I can go like ham on him. So you buff, you buff, you buff, and you buff. And after you buffed, you go in. I knew you'd come. And you go behind him, okay? Position yourself right behind him. Like this. Now he said it. Charged. Charged. Dead. You know, and he started with the buff. You are past Gideon, and there's only Horalu and Radahn / Elden Beast between you and a successful no-hit run on Elden Ring, which makes you the real Elden Lord, okay? Horalu is difficult, and I'm trying to commentate along the fight, but Horalu is one you have to learn, you know? again, one of these boss fights where I can only say, make a safe game and, like, dedicate an hour or two and, like, learn it a little bit. Horalu has a scripted opener where he just grinds at you and you can run around him and give him a charged R2 at the beginning. But after that, it's basically, you know, RNG, what you get. Again, I'm gonna try to commentate, but make sure to get a safe game and learn Horalu. Drink, buff Golden Vow, buff this, buff Flame Granny Strength, and get the poison darts ready. We go into the fight, we run around Horalu. Like this. Lock on, charged R2, jumping R1. That's the bad RNG, you roll away. Dart. Dart. Roll in. Jumping R1. Roll this. Jumping R1. Roll this. Jumping R1. Roll this. Oi. R2. Charged R2. Base transition. That was very messy, but it worked, luckily. Now I run away a little bit. Oh, we got a stagger. 2 daggers. Roll with this. Boom, give him one. Jump this. Jump this. These you always want to jump. 2 more poison darts. 1 more poison dart. Roll away. Run away. 1, 2, 3 poison darts. Roll this. Now he's poisoned. Now we wait for running attacks. Go in. Jump. Roll. We wait for running attacks now. It's the most important thing for us. If we don't get them, we let the poison do its work first. Roll. Jump now. Run away. And you can throw 1 Kukri if you want. Kukris do quite some damage to him as well. I'm too close to the wall. That's why I didn't roll with him right now. I wasn't sure if I'm too close or if I'm good. So I didn't want to risk it, you know. From here on out, I'm just going to stay a little away from him and utilize my Kukris. The rest of the Kukris I have. The poison is going to do the rest then. So being close to him, in my opinion, makes the fight much, much harder. And sometimes the balls are just not, you know, quick enough. Roll, jump, run away. Another Kukri for him. Roll this. Run away. Jump. The stomps you gotta learn, obviously, when to jump, right? You can utilize this as well. 1 more Kukri. 1 more Kukri. There it is. There it is, guys. Horalu. And now it's Radahn and the Elden Beast. And believe it or not, Radahn and the Elden Beast is one of the easier fights. Because it's completely scripted. You can go 50, 85 strength and the last point put it into dexterity. Like, or endurance. It doesn't matter. You're at 99 strength now with all the buffs, so it doesn't really matter. Horalu, I like fighting him like that. You can obviously choose to learn a melee. Completely melee. Makes the fight a little bit more difficult. But feel free to do it, right? You can even script him pretty well, I believe. I just always fight him like this. It works out pretty well, so it's up to you, you know. You set up 1 last RTSR here before Radahn Elden Beast. And then we are ready for the rock and roll. And by the rock and roll, I mean the last boss fight of your any % no hit run. So, buff 1 last time. Buff again with the Golden Vow. Boom. Crag Blade. And now drink again. Important, because we want to rebuff after Radahn is dead. You go in, you run up to Radahn. Okay? Charged R2. Charged R2. Jump. This attack. R2. Roll. Stagger. Charged R2, dead. Crack Blade. Flame grant me strength. Elden Beast. Go in. Charged R2, charged R2. Charged R2, charged R2, charged R2. Stagger. Charged. Charged. Elden Beast dead. And you just got your first Elden Ring no-hit run, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. Claps. Well done. Yeah, that's it. That's the Elden Ring any percent no-hit run, guys. The setup, obviously, a long part of this entire journey. And with this weapon, you're going to be able to, yeah, do this like consistently, and it's gonna be a fun run for sure. And if it's your first no-hit run, it's probably a really good one to start with. If you enjoy this, you know, make sure to hit the subscription button here, or maybe follow my Twitch channel, where I'm live almost every single day. I'm also live here on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching this guide. There will be more guides in the future for the Dark Souls parts and for, you know, certain types of playstyles. And yeah, thank you for watching. Love you. Say it back.
Dino Sind Guile.